Are we live? We live? Okay. Let me check my hat, make sure everything is straight. You know, we gotta make sure everybody can see my boys out there, you know. All right, we good? All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into another video. So check it out. This is gonna be what you need to be doing to your lawn if you live in the cool season area. This is what I do every fall leading into winter and setting my lawn up for next spring. So I want to show you guys what I'm going to be using and what I'm going to be doing next, but stay tuned. Hold on. Now, I wasn't talking to anybody, but there's a lot of Eagle fans in these comment sections. They know I'm a Cowboys fan, so they be trolling a lot. So got to let them know, you know, what time it is. So, but let's go to the table. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be using and go over a few steps. So stay tuned and let's go over that right now. So now we're at the table. So this is my little setup that I do every fall. Like I told you in the past video, you want to make sure you're dropping down your last fertilizer application right before Thanksgiving. And right now we're a few days from Thanksgiving. So I always go with something like a 10-10-10, or if I'm using a fertilizer that has a high in nitrogen or even low in nitrogen. You don't really need high nitrogen at this time of the year. You're not trying to push growth, but most times you're gonna find like those winterizer fertilizers, they're always gonna have a high nitrogen content, 0 phosphorus, and a high or a little higher on the actual potassium. That's what you're really looking for at this time. This final number, this third number on the bag, that's what you want in the fall time to actually winterize your lawn. Nitrogen is going to be the second, but you don't really need it, and definitely phosphorus, you don't really need that at all at this time of the year. But this is the cheapest bag of fertilizer you can find. It's a 10-10-10. They make them in all different brands. This is a Home Depot brand, so I just went in there. Something I already been using. I've used it already, so I'm gonna use the rest of this. It's like I said, you don't have to buy anything. As long as you have something with nitrogen and potassium, you're good to go. So you can go to Walmart. They're always the cheapest bags. And I think even sometimes they come in like maybe a 5-5-5 or something like that. Or you might find something with a 5-0-25. Those are good bags to find. If you find something with like 10 or plus on the actual potassium. So a lot of people will go down and actually put down a 0-0-25 at this time of the year, because you're not trying to push growth. You're not trying to green the lawn up. You just want to make sure your root system is getting the proper potassium so it can develop a strong root system and actual hardness of the plant so it can survive those winter months and grow back nice and, you know, green for springtime. I use 10-10-10. This is going to go right on the lawn. I'm going to water it in, and the lawn is actually going to store in a lot of this energy. And then once the soil reheats in the springtime, it's going to pop in and you're going to get a nice fast green up every year. If you go check my previous videos around that March, late March, April, May month, you'll see how quickly my lawn greens up. And that's due to actual fertilizing right before Thanksgiving. Your final application, I live in the Northeast, so your final application should come right now before your soil temps actually freeze over. That's an important key right now. Right now it's about 50 degrees, it's a beautiful day. So my soil has not froze over yet, but you want to make sure you get it down before it actually freezes over so this can go down and the plant can actually absorb it. That's the key right now. Like I showed you before, most important things, fertilizing your last fertilizer application and your pre-emergent. Now, I'm gonna go over to this part. I do this every single season. I go ahead and lime my yard. I use this lime right here, very, very basic. It's about $7-8 at Home Depot. I don't use anything fancy. I don't need anything fancy. I'm just putting down some lime. This is going to help balance out your soil's pH. Now, if you have acidic soil or alkaline soil, you're going to do a soil test. But if you don't do a soil test, I don't do a soil test every year. But normally my soil is on the acidic side. So this is going to help raise up my levels. Now, a balanced soil pH, you want it around 7. So if yours come back around 6, maybe 6.5, 6.7 to about 7.2, that's optimum. You can get some good growth. Anything lower than that 6.5, you might struggle to actually grow grass seed. That's another key right there, because your grass may not, your soil may not be able to grow and hold the grass. Now the grass seed will grow, but it probably won't stay. Now, vice versa. If your actual soil is alkaline and it's too high, like 7.5, 8, that can cause problems too with actual germination or your actual grass staying around and growing a healthy lawn. So you want it right in between. So 7 is optimum. But like I said, you can get away with 6.5 to 7.2, especially if you're growing tall fescue. Tall fescue can actually grow in some of the poorest soil condition. That's one of the best things about actual fescue. When you have like bluegrass, you want to make sure that pH is dead right, because you'll struggle. The bluegrass is kind of like a prima donna, it's like a diva, the diva grass right there, because that soil pH need to be at the optimum balance, pH balance. Now, like I said, fescue can grow in some poor conditions. I remember when I first started growing my fescue, I think my soil pH was around 6, and it was growing in. Now some parts would die off, but I didn't know why it was dying off until I actually got a soil test, and then it showed that my soil pH was a little too low. So started putting some lime in the yard. Now you're gonna lime the yard. It's not gonna go and correct it right away. This is like a process. So you're gonna lime the yard every single year in the fall. Now I know some people do lime the yard in the springtime. I never done it. I only did it in the fall around overseed. I throw down my seed, and then maybe so if I do my overseed around September, I will be liming the yard somewhere like around October, November, and then next spring you'll see a big difference, and then you just keep doing it, and then you can always do a soil test to see the before and the after. But like I said, this basic lime right here is going to enhance fertilizer effectiveness in the soil. Like I said, it's going to hold and actually correct a lot of imperfections in your soil, neutralize soil acidity, supply calcium and manganese inside the soil. Now this is a 40-pound bag. They recommend that you actually put down between 50 to 80 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So my yard is 2,500 square feet. So I do 3 40-pound bags. So that's about 120 pounds of lime. And that normally does me well back here. And then in my front yard, I do 1 bag because this is smaller. The front yard is about 1,000 in total. So I just use 1 bag and do both halves. So this is my setup. Nothing too expensive, nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. Now you do it correct now, and you'll see the results in the spring. Like I said, with your fertilizer, it's gonna store it, and once them soil temps start warming up in the springtime, you're gonna see your grass pop back in really, really nice, start greening up very quick. You can tell between a treated lawn and an untreated lawn. My lawn is always the first one on the block that's actually greening up, because I'm actually doing the steps now to actually, have that effect in the springtime. You'll see some people that don't do it and their lawn end up green, but it's like later in May. Mine is popping in green in April. So this is my setup. So let's go ahead and get this product spread down, and I can get you guys out of here. Okay, so when it's time to apply your product inside your hopper here, you want to make sure you're on a hard, flat surface, like I always explain to you, because sometimes this stuff can throw the balance off. The hopper is only standing up by a little kickstand back here. This is a little cheap one I had for a few seasons already, and it does the job. But always make sure you're on a hard surface. You don't want to actually pour your product or your fertilizers inside the hopper over your grass, because sometimes it can just tilt over, boom. Now you got fertilizer burn because it's too much piled up. You can never get it up. So also, when actually applying these products, you always got to make sure you have your proper PPE on. So you got to have your gloves, long sleeves majority of the times. Now, if it's fertilizer, you don't really have to have long sleeves, but if you're doing liquids, long sleeves, because you don't know, sometimes you can get like chemical burns and stuff like that if it spills on your skin. So gloves. Now these gloves are just little cloth gloves here. If I was dealing with a liquid, I would actually put on rubber gloves, because these gloves right here actually absorb liquid. Your rubber gloves will be like a little repellent. So for fertilizer applications, granules, you can actually use gloves, long sleeves like this, or like I said, short sleeves, doesn't matter. Most important part when you actually using these products, you want to make sure you have a mask on. So let me show you, let me get down here. So you don't want to inhale your products. So you want to make sure you're putting on a nice mask to actually cover up and, you know, cover your nose, cover your mouth, so you don't inhale anything. So, you know, I put my mask on today. I just wanted to show you how to actually put it on. It's a little basic mask, nothing too fancy, just a little basic protection, you know, just to get the job done. So let's get back to actually about to apply this product. All right, so for your lime now, the first application that you saw was the actual fertilizer. This is the actual limestones here. Like I said, very basic. I'm gonna use the whole bag. I'm gonna use 3 bags. You see it's real dusty here, so make sure you got your mask on, or you're not too far or too close up on the actual hopper. So spread from a distance if you don't have a mask, but try not to inhale this stuff. Now this is just how the limestones look here. Like I said, very basic. All you're gonna do is spread this down, water it in, and it's water activated, and then that'll actually set, be absorbed into your actual plant, you know, your grass root system, and it'll start working. Like I said, this is a process that you should be doing yearly, every fall. So I mean, some people do it in the spring. I've never done it, so I don't know the results, but I do it every fall and I get good results. But this is over time here. So this is a 40-pound bag. Like I said, this is a small hopper, so I'm gonna have to do multiple passes on this. Now, when I spread down the limestones, I adjust it. It don't really have the adjustment on the actual bag, on the hopper that it needs. Sometimes some certain bags do have the actual adjustments for the spreaders, but I just go by what I like to see actually come out the actual hopper. Make sure you don't spill anything. But yeah, so you're gonna adjust it on the fly. Now, I do this yearly with this hopper, so I put it around 5.5 on this little Scott's edge guard, this little mini. So, and it works for me. But like I said, you're gonna have to do multiple passes. So let's spread it down now. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you got a little bit of entertainment out of it, a little bit of laughter. I know I did. I had a little bit of fun shooting this video. Had to get you Eagle fans back. We came back from 21 down and we took the W. So hope you guys enjoyed. I wanted to show you guys how to end your lawn care season. This might be my last video for the year of 2025. It is getting cold, but I wanted to show you, you need to get down your last fertilizer application now, right before Thanksgiving. I told you that already. My lawn is going dormant, so this is the perfect time. The soil temps are still in the 50 range, so it hasn't froze over yet. So get your fertilizer application down if you want to have a nice, successful spring. So like I said, a lot of that's going to be absorbed, stored in, and then once the soil temps warm back up in the springtime, you'll get a quick green up. Also, lime your yard. A lot of people do not lime the lawn, so you know, sometimes you will have some acidic soil, alkaline soil, and your soil pH is off. Make sure you do a soil test also, but you don't have to do a soil test. You can just throw down some lime. Like I said, 40 pounds. I do about 3 bags of that, so that's 120 pounds on 2,500 square foot. I use that cheap little limestones there, very cheap, very basic, and over the years I've seen an improvement in my lawn. But like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy. Take care, enjoy the holidays if I don't see you again, but I'm pretty sure this might be my last video because it is getting cold. I live in the north, so you know how things go. I'm expecting snow very, very soon because temperatures are dropping. But enjoy the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. If I don't see you again, if I don't make a post, I appreciate you guys supporting me all year. 2025 was a good year for me. A lot of ups, some downs, but you know, every day we get to wake up, we get to do it again and have a, you know, another crack at it. So hopefully you guys enjoy, take care, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys again in 2026 of spring, you know, Lord willing. But hopefully you guys take care, enjoy the holidays, spend time with the family, and cherish every moment. So take care. I'll see you again.